Hello guys, once again Navneet tutorials for Commerce Booster, specially designed for class 12. Subject discussed here are the accountancy, business studies, economics and entrepreneurship. The PDF format you can download from the description link of my YouTube channel that is called Commerce Man Navneet. And let's begin the solve solution of 2020 for the subject of business studies. Page number 72, I think so. Wait a second. $72. This is the paper. Business Studies, new course 2020 for Commerce. Designed by Embos for Embos final examination board paper. Full marks is 80. Time allotted by Embos is 3 hours. The figure in this margin indicate full marks for the question general instructions. Question number 1 to 11, including all sub-questions of question number 1, carry 1 marks each. Question number 12 to 16 carry 3 marks each. Answer to these questions may be in 50 to 75 words. Question number 17 to 19, 4 marks each. Answer to these questions may be in about 120 words. Question number 20 to 22 carry 5 marks each. Answer to these questions may be in about 150 words. Question number 23 to 25 carry 6 marks each. Answer to these questions may be in about 200 words. Now let's begin the question. Question number 1. Here we will get 10 questions. Choose the correct answer. This is called MCQs, multiple choice questions. Let's begin it. 1 marks for each answer. Choose and write the correct answer. Liberalization means options: integration among economics, reduced government controls and restrictions, policy of planned disinvestment, none of the above. Option number 2 is the right answer. Reduced government controls and restrictions. Question number B. Which of the following is an internal source of recruitment? Options: direct recruitment, casual collar, promotions, campus recruitment. Answer is promotion. Number 3. Question number C. Grapevine is options: formal communication, barrier to communication, lateral communication, informal communication. And the right option is point number 4, informal communication. Question number D. Companies with a higher growth pattern are likely to options: pay lower dividends, pay higher dividends, dividends are not affected by growth considerations, none of the above. And the option is option number 1, pay lower dividends. Question number E. Policy formulation is the function of top level management, middle level managers, operational management, and all of the above. It's only top managers. Question number F. Centralization refers to retention of option number 1, retention of decision making authority. Point number 2, dispersal of decision making authority. Point number 3, creating divisions as profit centers. Point number 4, opening new centers or branches. The answer is retention of decision making authority. Question number G, higher working capital usually results in options: higher current ratio, higher risks and higher profits. Option number 2, lower current ratio, higher risks and profits. 3, higher equity, lower risks and lower profits. Number 4, lower equity, lower risk and lower profits. And the answer is option number 4, lower equity, lower risk and higher profits. Question number H, the National Stock Exchange of India was recognized as a stock exchange in 1992, 1993, 1994 and 1995. It was April 1993. Option number 2 is right. Question number I, which of the following types of plan also act as a control device? Budget, contingency plan, strategic plan, tactical plan. And the option is budget. Question number J, which marketing philosophy gives more importance to consumer welfare instead of consumer satisfaction? Selling concept, production concept, societal marketing concept, product concept. It's selling concept. Question number 2 for 1 marks. State any 2 elements of marketing mix. The 2 elements of marketing mix are product mix and price mix. Question number 3. What do you understand by the term management strategy for 1 marks? Management strategy. Management strategy is a series of techniques for controlling and directing a business to achieve a set of predetermined goals. They include strategies for goal setting, leadership, business administration and operational activities. Question number 4. What do you understand by term span of management for 1 marks? Span of management. Span of management, known as span of control, refers to numbers of people a manager directly manages. In a wider sense, span of management, a manager has many subordinates who report to him. In a narrow sense, span of management, a manager has fewer subordinates under him. Question number 5. A firm wants to increase its sales by 20% for the coming year. What type of plan is involved in it? Setting up of objective is first step of the first managerial function. Planning, it's basically an organization's aim or goal which it wishes to achieve during a specific time period. All the activities taking place in the organization have to sync with this objective. Simple answer will be for this question is what type of plan is involved in it. It's increase the sale. So sales promotion technique will be there. What type of plan? Plan will be here to increase the production and to sell it. That's all. Now question number 6. Why should a consumer look for ISI mark while buying electrical goods? The consumer should look for ISI mark while buying electrical goods because it gives an assurance that the product meets quality certification. The full form of ISI is an initialism of Indian Standards Institution, 1987, and the symbol given here, ISI. Question number 7. What do you understand by scalar chain? Scalar chain means line of authority or chain, a superior from highest to lowest rank Fayol insists that this chain must be followed strictly in the organization. Every information must pass through every key of their chain. No skipping of any one key should be allowed. The following diagram explains the principle. The diagram explains that in a organization, A, B, C, D, E, F on the left hand side, and on the right hand side A, L, M, N, O, P, Q. So B can communicate to L, but B cannot go directly to the A. Both can go. If E is ready to, if E needs to say something to A, then he have to follow the channel of D, C, B, then only, or else if the above superiors are busy or departments are busy, then E can communicate to O and O will do the process till A. Question number 8. Give one characteristics of management. Management is a goal-oriented process. An organization has a set of basic goals which are the basic reasons for its existence. This should be simple and clearly stated. Different organization has different goals. For example, point number A, the goal of a retail store in India is to increase sales. The goal of social organization is to impart education in the society. Question number 9. State any one limitations of planning. Planning leads to rigidity. In an organization, a well-defined plan is drawn up with specific goals to be achieved with a specific time frame. These plans then decide the future course of action, and managers may not be able to or not be in a position to change it. Question number 10. Mention one right of consumer under Consumer Protection Act 1986. According to Consumer Protection Act 1986, right to be informed. Consumer has right to have complete information about the product before buying it, like the photograph of Coca-Cola, can, manufacturing date, price, quantity, expiry date, ingredient, label, originality, duplication of the product, many more things. Shape, size, comfort, discomfort. Now question number 11. Mention one factors that determines the price of a product for 1 marks. The factor which determines the price of a product is product cost. One of the most important factors affecting price of a product or service is its cost. This includes the cost of producing, distributing and selling the product. The cost set the minimum level or the floor price at which the product may be sold. Question number 12. Mr. M. Gupta is the manager of a large corporate house. At what level does he work in the organization? State any two functions he will perform as a manager in the organization. Mr. M. Gupta is the manager of a large corporate house and he works in the middle level management or middle level of the management. Functions performed by Mr. M. Gupta as manager in the organization are to interpret the policies framed by top management, and number B, to ensure that their departments has the necessary personnel. Question number 13. Distinguish between policy and procedure for 3 marks, and or distinguish between policy and rule. First we will do policy and procedure. Difference between policy and procedure: basis, policy, procedure, necessity. Necessity. Point number 1, under policy, policies are required to help in taking decisions. Procedures, point number 1, procedures are necessary to speed up the performance. Point number 2, scope. Policies decide the limits of the activities of the organization. Procedure, it is a plan to execute decision based on policies. Number 3, levels of management. Under policy, policy are decided by top level of management. Procedures are decided by medium and low level executives. Now our question, difference between policy and rule. Basis, policy, rule. 3 columns are there. First point is meaning. Under policy, a broad plan laying down the limits within which discretion can be exercised in decision making. Under rule, a specific plan indicating what is to be done or not done in a given situation. Point number 2, nature. Under policy, a general statement. Under rule, a specific statement. Basis. Under point number 3, purpose. Under policy, to guide decision making. Under rule, to guide behavior and ensures discipline. Question number 14. Explain briefly any 3 characteristics of directing. For 3 marks, the 3 characteristics of directing are management function. Directing is a function of a management, so management function. Directing is undoubtedly an important function of management. Managers get work done smoothly and successfully through effective communication. Point number B. Direction is related to performance. Direction as practical aspects of management converts the plan into performance. Point number C. Direction is pervasive function of management at all levels. Point number D. Direction is continuous activity. The manager has to guide, supervise, motivate and lead the efforts of his subordinate continuously. Question number 15. Explain the factors affecting the financial decisions. The factors affecting financial decisions are: point number A, cost. The cost of raising funds through different sources are different. A prudent financial manager would normally opt for a source which is the cheapest. Point number B, risk. The risks associated with each of the source is different. Point number C, flotation cost. Higher the flotation cost, less attractive the source. Question number 16. Product is a bundle of utilities. Do you agree? Comment. It's a technical question. First you have to agree or do not agree. It depends on to you. So I am agreeing here. Yes, product is a bundle of utilities which is purchased because of its capacity or capability to provide satisfaction of certain need. A buyer buys a product or service for what it does for her or the benefits it provides. There can be 3 types of benefit it provides to a customer: functional benefits, physiological benefits and social benefits. For example, the purchase of a motorcycle provides functional utility of transportation, but at the same time satisfies the needs for prestige and esteem and provides social benefits by the way of acceptance from a group by riding it. Question number 17. Why is training important for an organization? Explain. For 4 marks. In business, training is the most important aspects which is associated with all levels of management, that is top level, middle level and lower or supervisory level. Training initiates development in the individual by different methods as per the available situation. The importance, needs, benefit of training in the organization are: point number A, to make labor force more useful. Point number B, increase the efficiency of employees. Point number C, familiarity with the working conditions. Point number D, familiarity with the equipment and methods. Point number E, boosting morale of the employees. Advantages of training are: increase in production and productivity. Point number B, proper use of machine and equipments. Point number C, lesser accidents. Point number D, lesser supervision. Point number E, improved quality of goods. Point number F, helpful in the development of business. What are the functions of a stock exchange? For 4 marks. The functions of a stock exchange are: point number A, providing liquidity and marketability to existing securities. The basic function of a stock exchange is the creation of continuous market where securities are bought and sold. Point number B, pricing of securities. Share prices on a stock exchange are determined by the forces of demand and supply. Point number C, safety of transactions. The membership of a stock exchange is well defined according to the existing legal framework. Point number D, contributes to economic growth. A stock exchange is a market in which existing securities are resold or traded, through the process of disinvestment and reinvestment avenues. This leads to capital formation and economic growth, yani ki to provide a liquidity facility. An investor can liquidate anytime from anywhere through his demat account, his whole shares into cash, and buyer is ready to purchase, seller is ready to sell in this market. Okay. Point number E is providing scope for speculation. The stock exchange provides sufficient scope within the provisions of law for speculative activity in a restricted and controlled manner. Question number 19. The production manager of Bharat Limited instructs a salesman to go slow in selling the products, whereas the marketing manager is insisting on fast selling to achieve the target. Which principle of management is being violated in this case? State any two consequences of violation of this principle. Company name Bharat Limited. Production manager instructs a salesman to go slow in selling the product. Marketing manager insisting on fast selling to achieve the target sales volume. From the above two statements, unity of command is violated in this case. The consequence result of violation of this principle is, point number A, the salesman got confused, that is to whom he or she needs to follow. Point number B, in this event we can analyze the conflict arise due to dual objective command, conflict in between the departments. Point number C, the salesman felt more burdens on his hands towards the management. Point number D, the subordinate may felt the job due the subordinate may left the job due to lack of unity of direction. Same question number 19. Or an organization follows the principle of management. What are the positive effects of the following principles of management in the organization? Unity of direction and unity of spirit de corps. Point number A, unity of direction. It implies that there should be one head and one plan for a group of activities having the same objective. Two positive effects are, it ensures unity of action among various groups and it helps in our coordination. Spirit de corps. Union is strength. Latin word spirit de corps. Now in English, union is strength. This principle states that both the workers and management should work together to accomplish the objectives. The reason behind this principle is that team contribution is always better than individual contribution. Positive effects of this principle. Point number 1, achievement of group goals. Point number 2, development of team spirit. Point number 3, high morale of employees. Point number 4, cooperation and coordination in the organization. Question number 20. Why is it important for business to understand their environment? Explain for 5 marks. Meaning, a business environment. Business environment is a set of political, economic, social and business environment is a set of political, economic, social, legal and technological forces that are largely outside the control and influence of a business, and that can potentially both a positive and negative impact on the business. Importance of business environment. Capitalizing early opportunities. Environment friendly enterprises are the first movers to avail of the existing and emerging opportunities. These enterprises do not lose emerging opportunities in their competitors. Activating management to changing technology needs. Knowledge of environmental changes sensitizes the management to make new strategy to cope with the emerging problems. Point number next point, intellectual stimulation. Knowledge of environmental changes provides intellectual stimulation. Planners and decision making authorities, they can do it by paying more attention to people, by listening to their problems and suggestions. Next point, image building. Environmental understanding by the management builds better image of the company in the minds of the people. They feel that the company is sensitive and responsive to their needs and problems. Next point, continuous learning. Environmental scanning provides continuing broad-based learning to its executives. And the last point, basis of strategy. Strategists can gather qualitative information regarding business environment and utilize them in formulating effective plans. Question number 20 or for 5 marks. Explain the impact of changes in government policy on business and industry. Answer. Impact of government policy changes LPG on business and industry, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization. Increasing competition. The new competitive environment has thrown the economy open. There is tough competition between multinationals and there are also competition between Indian enterprises and foreign enterprises. Competition has now become global. Buyer's market is the second point. In the liberalized regime, shortages of goods are no more, but there are surpluses goods. This is due to competition, reduction in cost, upgradation of technology, improvement in quality and customer convenience. Point number C, world-class technology. Changes in government policy regarding business and industry has viewed us with world-class technology. Threat from multinational companies. Due to the present policy of liberalization of our government, massive entry of multinationals in the country has started. Point number E, export for survival. The new trade policy has linked imports to exports. The enterprises should earn foreign exchange by exports and use the same foreign exchange for importing raw materials, spares and equipments. Point number F, future cannot be guided by past failures. It is rightly said that future starts afresh for Indian companies. Future now need new strategies, high technologies, determined efforts, enthusiasm, organization and leadership. Question number 21. Explain the steps in controlling process for 5 marks. The steps in controlling process are: number 1, establishing standards. Every employee of the enterprise must know what is expected of him. It is therefore the first and foremost function of an effective control system to lay standards of every business operation. The worker must know the quantity, quality and the standard of work they have to perform. These standards may be in form of objective policies, strategies and budget. Point number 2, measurement of performance. Under it there are 2 points. Point number A, subpoint number A, measurement of actual performance. The actual performance of individuals, groups, departments and the whole enterprise is to be measured. It should be noted and a comprehensive report regarding the actual result should be prepared. The report may be general or extraordinary, descriptive or analytical, and verbal or written according to the requirements. Uniform reports of the actual performance should be prepared at regular intervals so that it can be thoroughly studied, analyzed and discussed. Point number B, subpoint. Comparison of actual results. The actual performance is compared with the established standards. While making comparison, it should be ascertained that both the actual and the predetermined performance are in homogeneous units. The comparison should be separately made as regard the performance of individual groups, departments and the whole organization. Point number 3, detecting control points. Detection of control points identifies deviation of actual performance with the expected performance. The comparison, if reveals deviation between the actual and the expected performance, weakness, shortcomings, mistakes and deficiencies are located. These strategic control points need the attention of the management. Efforts are made to strengthen these weak points. Point number 4, remedial measures. An effective control tries to remove the defects causing the deviation between actual and expected results. Corrective actions are employed taking note of the nature, type and circumstances of the deficiencies. Under it, the subpoint are: point number A, removing performance barrier; point number B, preventing recurrence of barriers; point number C, improving physical conditions; point number D, reviewing instructions and training system; point number E, improvement in employees motivation, supervision and leadership; point number F, modifying business plan. I have made a simple diagram to understand the process of controlling: fixing the standards, measuring the actual performance, then comparison, corrective action, follow up, and this will go on cycling process. This is called control process. Diagram of process of control. Question number 22 for 5 marks. Distinguish between primary market and secondary market. Basis: primary market and secondary market. 3 columns. Number 1, meaning. Under primary market, offers security for the first time. Secondary market offers trade of already issued securities. Point number 2, purpose: to raise capital for expansion and diversification, etc. Under secondary market, trading and thereby availing liquidity to investors. Point number 3, price. Under primary market, the company sells the shares to the investors at a fixed price. Under secondary market, demand supply discovers the price. Point number 4, parties involved. Under primary market, company and investors. Under secondary market, point number 4, investors buy and sell among themselves. Point number 5, medium. Under primary market, only buying of securities takes place. Under secondary market, both buying and selling of securities takes place. Point number 6, place of market. Under primary market, there is no fixed geographical locations. Under secondary market, located at specified places. Next question. Or Diana Software Limited is a reputed name in the market for the last 10 years. Now it wants to set up new projects for expansion and modernization of existing projects. For this purpose, it is opting for 2 different methods of floating new issues. Firstly, securities are sold to issuing houses or stockbrokers at an agreed price, which they resell to investing public. Secondly, 1 share is offered against 5 shares, which shareholder already possesses to the existing shareholders. This is a privilege given to them. Now the questions are, I have written questions with answers. Alright, the highlighted or the bold one are the answers. In which type of capital market the above issues of securities is covered? The answer is primary market. Question number B. Give the name of method used for issuing of securities by Diana Software Limited. The first method is offer for sale and the other one is right issue. Point number C. Mention the essential functions of the market indicated here. Answer is to facilitate the transfer of investable funds from savers to entrepreneurs seeking to establish new enterprise or to expand existing one through the issue of securities for the first time. Question number D. Who are the investors in the market? Bank, financial institutions, insurance companies, mutual funds and individuals. Question number E. List 2 more methods of issuing securities in this market. So private placement is there and e-IPOs is there. So the initial of IPO is initial public offers, or the full form is initial public offer, and E here means electronic means. Next question, question number 23. What is meant by functional structure of an organization? Explain any 2 of its advantages and disadvantages or limitations. For 6 marks, the question already repeated in 2019. Now again we are going to do the same, so it will be a kind of revision for you people. Answer. Functional structure, grouping together the entire work into major functional departments and entrusting those departments to functional specialists is known as functional structure of organization. So functional structure chart, please look. President is there, 4 departments: research and development managers, finance managers, marketing managers, manufacturing managers. And under it, under research and development manager, design, development, testing is there. Under finance manager, accounting and purchasing is there. Under marketing, sales, customer service is there. Manufacturing manager, line supervisor, production team, distribution is there. Advantages of functional structure. Point number A, it is logical reflection of function. It differentiates function in such a manner that each function is organized on a logical pattern for its performance. Point number B, it maintains powers and prestige of major function. Major function like production, marketing, finance, etc. are assigned to departmental health to deprive major activities concerning these functions. Disadvantages of functional structure are: point number A, responsibility for profit is at top only. The responsibility for profit lies with the president or CEO, while each functional head look after his assigned areas of activity. This makes it difficult to integrate diverse function towards achievement of common objectives. Point number B, slow adoption to change in environment due to lack of interfunctional interaction. Personnel tend to become less responsible to any change. Next question, or for 6 marks, why delegation is considered essential for effective organizing. Delegation is the transfer of authority from superior to subordinate. It has 3 elements: authority, responsibility and accountability. Importance of delegation is that it helps in effective management, employee development, motivation, growth and coordination. Delegation is considered essential for effective organizing are: point number A, effective management. By empowering the employees, the manager are able to function more efficiently as they get more time to concentrate on important matters. Freedom from doing routine work provides them with opportunities to excel in new areas. Point number B, employee development. As a result of delegation, employees get more opportunities to utilize their talent, and this may give rise to latent abilities in them. It allows them to develop those skills which will enable them to perform complex tasks and assume those responsibilities which will improve their career prospects. Point number C, motivation of employees. Delegation helps in developing the talent of the employees. It also has psychological benefits or physiological benefits. When a superior entrusts psychological benefits. When a superior entrusts a subordinate with a task, it is not merely the sharing of work but involves trust on the superior's part and commitment on the part of the subordinate. Point number D, facilitation of growth. Delegation helps in the expansion of an organization by providing a ready work force to take up leading positions in new ventures. Point number E, basis of management hierarchy. Delegation of authority establishes superior subordinates relationship which are the basis of hierarchy of management. It is the degree and flow of authority which determine who has to report to whom. Point number F, better coordination. The element of delegation, namely authority, responsibility and accountability, help to define the power, duties and answerability related to the various positions in an organization. Question number 24 for 6 marks. The barrier of effective communication exists in all organizations to a greater or lesser degree. Explain any 6 measures to overcome these barriers for 6 marks. Answer. The barriers of effective communication exist in all organizations to a greater or lesser degree. Yes, the above statement is true, and the following measures to overcome these barriers are: point number A, simple language. The sender of the message should use simple language and commonly known words. It is better for sender to use that language which is known to the receiver. Point number B, clarify the idea before communication. The entire problem of message to be communicated by senders should be studied in depth and stated in such a manner that is clearly conveyed to subordinate or receiver. Point number C, consult others before communication. It is better to involve subordinate receivers to get acceptance or willing cooperation from them before actually communicating the message. Ensure proper feedback. Point number D, the communication is said to be successful when desired feedback is received by the sender, so the receiver should be encouraged to respond and to be more responsive regarding the message sent. Point number E, communicative for present as well as future. Generally, commitment is done to meet present needs and commitment, but to maintain consistency, the communication should aim at future goals of the organization also. Point number F, follow-up communication. There should be regular follow-up and review of the information or instructions given to the subordinates or receivers. Such follow-up helps in removing hurdles in implementing the instructions. Point number G, communicate according to the needs of the receiver. Manager should adjust this communication or his communication according to the education and understanding level of the subordinates. Point number H, be careful about language and content of messages. The content of the message, tone, language and manner in which the message is to be communicated are some important aspects of effective communication. The language should be understandable to the receiver. Point number I, convey things of help and value to the listener. While conveying message to others, it is better to know the interests and needs of the people with whom you are communicating or we are communicating. Next question. David is working as a senior legal consultant in Bharat Limited, earning rupees 1 lakh per month. Some additional facilities are also given by the company. His basic needs are satisfied and his job is on a permanent basis. The company will also pay pension after his retirement, but in spite of all this, David is not satisfied with his life. According to Maslow hierarchy need, which need are still to be satisfied? According to the question of case law, David is working as a senior legal consultant in Bharat Limited and earning rupees 1 lakh per month. Some additional facilities are also given by the company. His basic needs are satisfied and his job is on a permanent basis. The company will also pay pension after his retirement, but in spite of all this, David is not satisfied with his life. As per the statement mentioned above and according to Maslow need hierarchy, some needs which are still to be fulfilled are affiliation, belongingness or belongingness need. It includes affection, sense of belongingness, acceptance and friendship. Point number B, esteem need. It includes self-respect, status, recognition and attention. Point number C, self-actualization need. It includes growth, self-fulfillment and achievement of goals. That's all. Question number 25. Explain the role of consumer organization and non-governmental organizations in protecting and promoting consumer interests for 6 marks. Role of consumer organizations and NGOs. Point number 1. Educating the general public about consumer rights by organizing training programs, seminars and workshops. Point number 2. Publishing periodicals and other publications to educate consumers. Point number 3. Providing legal assistance to consumers by providing legal advice, etc. Producing films or cassettes on food adulteration, misuse of drugs, etc. Point number 5. Filing complaints in appropriate consumer courts on behalf of consumers. Point number 6. Encouraging consumers to take on action against unfair trade practices. Point number 7. Taking an initiative in filing cases in consumer courts on behalf of consumers. Next question. Briefly explain the redressal agencies under the Consumer Protection Act 1986. Question repeated. for 6 marks. Redressal agencies under Consumer Protection Act 1986 for the redressal of consumer grievances. The Act provides 3-tier machinery as District Forum, State Commission, National Commission. In all forums, we can appeal directly. District Forum has a capacity of 20 lakh up to 20 lakh, State Commission 20 lakh to 1 crore, and National Commission more than 1 crore. Now, District Forum. District Forum are set up in each district by the state concerned. The important features are: point number A, it consists of a president and 2 members, one of whom should be a woman duly appointed by state government. Point number B, it can receive consumer complaints of not more than rupees 20 lakh value. Point number C, on receiving the complaint, the district forum shall refer the complaint to the opposite party concerned and send the sample of goods for testing in a laboratory. Point number D, the district forum, after being satisfied that goods are defective or there is some unfair trade practice, can issue an order to opposite party directing him to either replace or return the price or pay compensation. In case the aggrieved party is not satisfied with the order of district forum, he can appeal or she can appeal before state forum within 30 days of passing an order. Point number 2, State Commission. It is set up in each state by the government concerned. The salient features are: point number A, each commission consists of a president and it at least 2 members appointed by the state government. Point number B, complaints of at least rupees 20 lakh but not more than rupees 1 crore can be filed with the state commission. Point number C, on receiving the complaint, the state commission can also refer the complaint to opposite party and send to the goods for testing in laboratory. Point number D, the state commission, after being satisfied, can order to opposite party to either replace or repay or pay compensation. In case the aggrieved party is not satisfied, they can appeal before National Commission within 30 days of passing an order. National Commission. Point number 3, it is set up by the central government. The provisions of Act are: point number A, it consists of a president and at least 4 members appointed by central government. Point number B, all complaints are pertaining to goods and services of value more than rupees 1 crore can be filed with National Commission. Point number C, on receiving the complaint, the National Commission can also refer to the it to opposite party and send goods for testing. Point number D, the National Commission has the power to issue orders or replacement or removal and to pay the compensation for loss. That's all. So the solution of 2020 question paper set by Ambos conducting final examination, and this solution will help you in your upcoming examination which were held in 2021 in the month of April and May. So be careful and study well. And again, in the link of description or in my YouTube tutorial description, in description you will get the PDF format of this file, so you can download from there. Like the video, share it and press the bell icon to get the notification. Thank you.